Hello.
Today we are.
You're listening to the TRAXXFM Morning Show.
Hello, hi, good morning. 8:10 on a beautiful Monday morning, the 12th of January. Otto and Double D, hello, hi.
Hello.
Today we are discipline teachers, where all our other friends are students. But we mentioned that we're going to be joined by a guest this morning to talk us about something that most of us may assume that we know about. But to be honest, when Anna told us, I didn't know.
I also didn't know. So we're talking to Chua Kim Soon, the Chief Executive Officer of PIAM, the Persatuan Insurans Malaysia, or General Insurance Association of Malaysia.
Good morning, Mr. Chua. Can we address you as Mr. Chua?
Yep, great. Good morning, Malaysia, and thank you for inviting me to your radio session.
Okay, no problem. Of course, you had a long walk from Wisma Berita to Wisma Radio, and you told us your day starts at 4:30 in the morning.
Yep.
And you look fit. I think he can outrun both you and I, or two.
Yes, you can. We are also live also on TikTok, and if you want to head over there, also on Facebook, it's TRAXXFM OFFICIAL. If you have any questions, post it on there, and then we'll get to it.
Okay, Otto, since you got a better eyesight, you read all the comments, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So today, Mr. Chua, you're joining us in a very important period in Malaysia where the monsoon season hits us. As we speak right now, schools in Sarawak are still closed. Even though it's first day of school, kids are not being able to go to school because of the floods. So, are we financially prepared for the monsoon is what our topic of discussion is this morning.
Yep, glad to talk about it. I think each and every one of us every day are exposed to risks.
Absolutely.
And risks may attract and result in financial loss. Some of it could be quite severe. So, in this monsoon season, although we are moving towards the tail end of the monsoon season, we still see, areas where there've been heavy rain, and that's why the result we have flood. And we are seeing that in East Malaysia, which is, our thoughts are with them. Hopefully that they recover from it very quickly.
You know what, Mr. Chua, just to add on to what you just said, this monsoon season, but from last year to this year, there are areas or places that have never experienced such things, and this would be their first time because all these years they never had to worry about floods. And then where did this water come from? Yep.
I think because of climate change nowadays, with more carbon into this atmosphere and so on and so forth, the weather pattern has changed. And when I was a young man in the early days,
you're still young, Mr. Chua.
Thank you. You have distinct seasons of flood seasons and so on and so forth. But today, it's not as distinct anymore. It's because of development, climate change, and so on and so forth. I should say, Double D, that places where we never experienced flood before, we do now.
So that's a calling card already, as it is, to know the fact that we need to be prepared for this monsoon season. And what are the things that, in general, we should know about, Mr. Chua?
Yeah, I think one thing is to be prepared for it. We know that, as I mentioned early on when I just started, we are all exposed to risk, and risk will result in potential financial losses. Some of them are losses that we can handle ourselves, but some of them could be fairly large. For example, if you have a car and it's stuck in a lowland and it got flooded, the damages to the car will be quite serious because cars have a lot of electronics, and repairs to that can be very, very expensive. And the mud damage to that and so on and so forth, to clean it up and to redo it, that will entail a very, very heavy expense. Now, if you do not have insurance, then obviously you'll be out of pocket a large amount. And don't stop me talking about just only car, homes. That is our biggest investment for any individual, right? And if a house is flooded, wow, the amount of repair and damage to it will be huge. And we are going to be out of pocket for a large amount. So that's where we need to be financially prepared.
And what about items inside the house?
Oh yeah, now we have so many electronics, our favorite TVs, and especially for the wives, you have all the kitchen equipments, the full range of it, just like mine. And if they are damaged, you're done for, right?
Okay. Is your wife tuned in right now? Because he just threw his wife under the bus.
Yeah, no. I think she's tuned in. I'm sure. So probably we'll have a bit of conversation when I'm
going back home. Now, being the chief executive officer of PIAM, that's the General Insurance Association of Malaysia, I'm sure you get this a lot as well. When it comes to this, what is the general, how you'd say, the things that you have to tell the consumers about? Because we're lazy to look in the fine print and all that. So what does PIAM do to help us out?
Yeah, I think our role is to educate the consumer and the public about insurance, right? I think one of the things that a lot of people try to stay away from is they find the insurance is very mysterious, especially when they receive their insurance policy. It becomes very complex. They don't understand the jargon and so on. So we're trying to boil it down to very simplistic layman term that they understand what insurance is all about, is to protect them. But I think one of the common misconception is that when someone has bought let's say a motor insurance policy, they assume everything is covered. But that's not the case, right? Because there are obviously some exclusions under the policy. And talking about exclusions, in situations like we mentioned about flood, that is not a standard cover in most of the insurance policies in the market. So one has to try to understand, what they are covered for under the current policy. And if they do not have such sort of cover to extend flood, then they need to then get purchase and add on to that.
And you know what? Some insurance agent may just come on strong to a consumer saying like, oh, you need to purchase this part to cover from natural disasters. Some of them think like, hey, this guy's trying to pocket extra money for me. I don't know, no, just a normal, regular insurance be fine. Some of them opt for third-party insurance. Some of them say, okay, this is the first driver. But this whole natural disaster thing, when people, like I said, it's not going to happen. So why do I need to pay extra, fork out a whole lot more? And then when it happens, you're just caught off guard.
Yeah, I think people always assume and adopt a very indifferent attitude, right? Take the example for the major floods in Hat Yai.
Right.
There were so many Malaysians traveling to Hat Yai for the holidays weekend, and there was a huge flood. And you imagine the damage to their cars. And most of the cars, I would assume, are not covered for flood. And just to then bring the car back to Malaysia and to get it repaired, just imagine the cost that they're going to incur. So this is something that is very important for people to understand, that the importance of insurance. Insurance is to, number one, you transfer your risk that you're exposed to the insurance company by buying by purchasing the cover, right? Insurance provides what we call peace of mind. I think that's very important. You want to go on your holiday, you want to have a very uneventful holiday, and even if something happens, you have a travel insurance to protect you.
Now,
right.
what is the how you say, explain the brief typical motor insurance over home insurance, because like what you said, flood is not covered. It's like add-in into the policy.
Yep.
Are we looking towards making it part of the typical policy for home insurance and also motor? Do you see that?
Well, I mean, traditionally, motor insurance, the comprehensive cover, there was never intention to provide such extension, because again, it's about affordability and sometimes it's about need. Right? Some people would need to have that cover. Some people say, I don't need. Right. So the choice is given to the customer, right, to the consumer. So if they want it, then they can add it as an add-on. If they don't want, then that's the standard cover. But they need to understand what they are covered for. I think that's very important.
Very true. You know what? We're going to come back and continue this conversation. If you're just joining us, hello, hi, good morning. We are having a chat with the CEO of PIAM, which is Persatuan Insurance
Malaysia.
Correct.
General Insurance Association of Malaysia, Mr. Chua Kim Soon. And of course, we'll get to some questions on TikTok as well, and also Facebook in just a bit.
He just told his wife got expensive kitchenware. I can't get over that. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the TRAXXFM Morning Show.
Barry Manilow, if it never rains in Southern California, well, in certain parts technically it shouldn't be raining as well, but now it's flooding. And joining us this morning on the show, we've got the CEO of PIAM, Mr. Chua, to talk us through, are we financially prepared for the monsoon?
And on TikTok, we have a couple of questions, and let's run through one of it. Like I said,
Okay.
Rush Ed says, what is the main factors that some of people don't like insurances?
Yeah, some people just don't even have policies. They think I don't need it at all.
Yeah, I think one of the misconception is that people think that, I'm just, why should I buy an insurance policy? Because it'll never happen to me, right? And I'm just wasting money. And sometimes people say, okay, I've bought this policy for 1 year, there was no claim. I wasted my money. But people need to understand that, as I mentioned, that all of us are exposed to risks every day. And as I say, risks can potentially result in financial losses. Potentially.
Yep.
So you're insuring for that. You're transferring the risk to the insurance company, right? What you're buying is buying a peace of mind that if anything does happen, right, you will be compensated for the loss. So I think that's the important first point that people need to understand, that it's not a waste of money. You have bought peace of mind. Yeah. Second is that a lot of times people say, okay, I bought a policy, it should cover me everything. And when a claim happens, say, you bought a standard motor policy and there's a flood. And they say, okay, you report a claim to the insurance company and say, oh, I've got a flood damage to my car. And the insurance company come back, they say, oh, sorry, you're not covered. Then you say, oh, I wasted my money again. Look, I bought a policy which does not compensate me for the loss. But I think one of the things is that people need to understand they have a personal responsibility to know what they had purchased. But if you buy a car, you will know everything about the car, right? Before you buy it.
You take it for a test drive before buying it.
Precisely, right? So same for insurance product, right? People shouldn't adopt an indifferent sort of attitude because I buy a motor policy because I'm required by law, because then I got a policy so that I can then drive a car on the road. I think that's the wrong way of addressing it, right? They need to really understand what they are covered for.
Well, there's one thing the whole human race don't know is when is going to happen to which person.
Precisely.
And by assuming like I wasted money, I would count my blessing like, thank goodness nothing happened to me.
Yep.
But if something would have happened, I would have been still saved or compensated. So it's a win-win.
So what simple checks can, as a Malaysian, do when it comes to their policy? What can they do? The simple checks.
Yeah, I think simple check is, number one, check whether they are in possession of their policy. Because a lot of times when a policy is given to them, they just tuck it somewhere, they don't know where is it, right? First thing,
Guilty as charged.
find out where your policy is first.
Okay.
Second, read it through. If you don't understand it, always then reach out to your insurance agent or insurance broker, or if not, directly go and meet up with the insurance company to get a clarity on the cover that is there. If you want to be a little bit more, you conduct a bit more research, you can go on to PM's website, www.pm.org.my, right? And you can find more information about that. And from there, then you will get the necessary advice whether, what you are covered and whether you need additional add-ons to it given the situations that you face.
Now, Khalid on TikTok asks, please ask the Mr. CEO, what is the age limit of taking personal insurance?
So, for personal accident insurance, that is the injury to yourself, and then there's a compensation. It varies, right? Some companies had a cut-off point at 60, some at 70, some even higher. So it depends on various companies, right? And one needs to check and probably do a bit of research on the net. It's all available on the internet nowadays, right?
Probably just got extra money, you have to pay a higher premium, that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But does it cover natural disasters? Like if I accidentally fall into a monsoon drain?
Yes, because it's accident policy, personal accident policy. It covers that.
Is it any way specific in a way? Like, for example, if you were, like what you said, drop in a pond, right?
Yeah.
What kind of pond? What is it going to be, like a river?
What if they ask me,
policy?
what were you doing in the pond? I said, I went fishing and then it started to flood and then I fell.
Well, I mean, the most important criteria is that it is unintentional, it's accidental. That means you're not causing yourself self-harm.
Okay.
Right? If you're causing yourself self-harm, then it will not be covered under the policy.
Okay.
Right? But as long as it's unintentional, unforeseen, right, and it's accidental, you'll be covered according to the terms of the policy.
All right. So in a real life scenario, I've got friends, I think it was 3 years ago, somewhere in Hudulangat, their whole house was inundated to the roof. They couldn't live there. When they came back, it was like nothing could be salvaged. All electronic items, fridges, washing machines, they tried to. Is like, you know what? It's way cheaper to get new stuff. If something were to happen to someone, one of our listeners' audience tuning in right now, if the house is insured, but those items inside, which you call them assets, right?
Contents, you can say contents of the house, yeah.
Are those two separate things? By insuring the house, does it automatically insure whatever's in the house or not?
Okay, there are a few different types of products, right? If you buy a basic fire insurance policy,
Okay, fire, yes. Okay.
yeah, fire insurance policy, that basic fire policy does not cover flood. It only covers loss due to fire, lightning, or explosion from gas used for domestic purposes. That's it, right? The premium is, of course, very low, very cheap, right?
Okay.
But if you want to cover for weather-related losses like flood, even earthquake nowadays, right?
Yes.
Yeah, then you need to have this add-on of what you call the weather special perils, right? So in this basic fire policy, you can insure for the building, the house, and the contents. It's up to you. The one of the key challenge here is to insure it adequately. What would be the value that you want to insure for the building, especially?
That's the
right?
big question. What you want
Yeah,
to do. Yeah.
A lot of times people make the mistake of including the value of the land. You do not need to do that, right? You need to just insure the rebuilding cost of the property. And on PIAM's website, we have this building cost calculator that you can input your information and will give you a right guideline on how much to insure for the building. But contents is equally important, especially when nowadays we accumulate so many different types of clothes and shoes. Besides the electronics, those cost a lot of money.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the other type of policy, which is a more comprehensive policy for buildings, we call it the householder and the house owner policy. A little bit, complicated. The house
Sounds the same, doesn't it?
sounds
Householder and-
almost the same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. House owner policy covers the building. Only the building and the fixtures that are attached to the building, right?
Okay.
So that policy includes flood.
Okay.
Oh.
And the householder policy covers the contents. Okay, so there's a distinction between covering the building and covering the contents. So the householder policy covers the content, and that policy also includes flood, right? But one other thing that I like to remind your listeners is that if we live near houses where on slopes and so on and so forth, it's important to extend the cover to include landslip and landslide, because that is not a standard inclusion in the policy.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to know this. It's not a standard inclusion. You get to question your agents and ask them straight up.
Yes.
That's right.
So what are the immediate steps policyholders should take to ensure that their insured claims process goes smoothly? Because that's one of the things as well. It takes a couple of months or weeks, I don't know, even years for policies to actually get
Go
back the
through
money.
and get the claim. Yeah.
I don't think it take that long, but I just give you an example. At the Putra Hike explosion,
Yeah.
right? We had some of our member companies who were on site who actually went with loss adjusters to inspect the damaged buildings, right, houses, and actually they gave on the spot partial payment of the claims on the spot. So I just want to change that misconception that it takes a long time. Not necessary.
Okay.
But in order to expedite the claim, number one needs to, of course, before all this, safety of life is the most important. Make sure that you are safe. Make sure your family members are safe, your neighbors are safe, away from that potential damage location, right? But in order to expedite the claim, number one, make sure that you contact your insurers as soon as possible, or the insurance agent, or the insurance brokers, right?
Okay.
Take evidence, record evidence. We all have a mobile phone. We can take photographs, right, of the damages that have been sustained. Right. Make sure that you have as much documents available to support your claims. Right. With all this, then you can submit to the insurers and then provide support and assistance to the loss adjusters when they arrive to assess the damage. Right. All this will help to expedite the claim.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long process, Otto.
That's why I'm thinking, is there any way that we can shorten the process?
Sometimes there's no shortcut to these things, Otto. I think
Right.
so. We're going to take a short break and come back to continue chatting with Mr. Chua, who's the CEO of PIAM,
Yes.
Persatuan Insurance Arm Malaysia.
Correct.
Right. I'm getting some anxiety issues now, bro.
House issues.
We'll be right back.
Weekday, 6 to 10.
Directly or indirectly, and you need to make some claims to cover your losses. Are you covered? That's the most important thing. And to add on to your question earlier, when you gave an example of what happened in that gas explosion,
Yes.
what if, like in such situations, to speed up process, if you have all the documents, relevant documents, the supporting documents, great, process is sped up. What if all these documents gets incinerated or just destroyed completely, this natural disaster.
Yeah. So what should he do?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that insurance companies will do is that they will assign a loss adjuster to assess the damages, right?
Okay.
So if someone has encountered a disaster, an unfortunate event, then and all the documents are lost, the loss adjuster will still try to help to get this information, right? But of course, obviously, why we always advise to have all this information documents at hand, because it will help to expedite the claim. Now, if you don't have these documents, it's not the end of the world. The claim can still be processed, but it will take a bit longer time because then the loss adjuster has to do a bit of searching here and there for the necessary information, right? So that's basically it. But I just want to share a very interesting sort of practice in Japan.
Okay.
Because in Japan, they always had earthquake damages and so on, tsunami and so on and so forth, right? It's one of the practice in Japanese household to get a sort of emergency bag ready. And what is in the emergency bag will be emergency day clothes, the medication, important documents, right? Even, power bank and so on and so forth, and cables, right? So that then if there is an emergency or disaster, all they got to do is just grab the bag and they're out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that then if they are, in a situation where they need to make a claim, they have information to help expedite that.
I think that's what every single media agency in this country also promotes.
It's called a bug out bag.
Bug out bag. You have that's the term. Everything that you need, your essentials, and you dash out. I've got still one at home. Nothing to do with that, but all my important documents. Yeah, because the hassle of going through getting your birth certificate back, your
Oh my
IC
goodness!
back,
Yes.
the passport. The agencies may come forward and say, offer, yes, you can step up, get it done, but the whole idea of going there and
The whole
time
process.
consuming
Mhm.
just save you all time. Before we wrap things up, we just mentioned about that auto insurance. I'm guilty as charged. We asked producer Anna. She said she's a smart girl. She's got it. She's covered.
Yep.
Auto, your motorcycle how?
Covered as well.
Covered for what?
Everything when it comes to not flood. Obviously, that's an adult thing. But let's say for tire, for any accidents, it's covered.
So that's the general. Did you take for flood, natural disaster?
No natural
I
disaster.
also didn't. I only took windshield.
Windscreen, right?
Windscreen, yeah.
Yeah.
But you just told me something else, Mr. Chua.
Yeah. So, if you don't have a windscreen extension cover, and if there's a damage to your windscreen, it's still covered under your comprehensive motor policy. The only thing is that if you make a claim without a windscreen extension, it will affect your NCD. No claim discount.
Okay.
Right. So by taking an extension, and then when you make a windscreen claim, it will not impact on your NCD.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Understood.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I learned this not the hard way, but not yet. Knock on wood. I just saw a little chip on my windshield. But my late dad's car, I had to transfer the ownership and all that. I didn't know that thing resets the NCD. Alamak. So, also, is there any last questions you'd like to ask before we let Mr. Chua go? Because he's here to let us know and remind us natural disasters can happen anytime, any place, unannounced. It's just that whether you and I are going to be prepared, and you may think that you have an insurance policy of some sort, but are you really covered?
Exactly. So, what is your advice, Mr. Chua? What is your advice to our listeners?
So my advice is, number one, is that there is a very strong purpose for insurance, right? A lot of people feel that it's a waste of time and money to do it. I say don't, right? Because you have insurance, there's a risk transfer mechanism. It gives you peace of mind. Second is that if you have an insurance policy, make sure that you check what you are covered for. If you are not clear, reach out to your insurance broker, insurance agent, or even the insurance company to find out what is it, right? And lastly, make sure that you have the necessary extension to protect you and your assets against such eventuality.
Well, thank you very much. We're talking to Mr. Chua. He's the CEO of PIAM, the Persatuan Insurance Malaysia, or General Insurance Association of Malaysia. And of course, to all our listeners and viewers on TikTok as well, thank you very much for your questions and likes as well.
I got one last question, Otto.
Okay, carry on.
What if our audience, our listeners right now, I'm not going to say scam, but they were misinformed. Some of them are gullible. People don't know the fine print. In fact, language may be a barrier. They may not understand what exactly they are buying, but towards the end, they realize that, wait a minute, I was taken for a ride. Is there a portal that they can come and complain, lodge a complaint to your association?
They can reach out to us, yes. We have a website, www.pm.org.my, or they can also lodge complaints with Banagara. yeah, there are avenues there.
Okay, you are safe. Okay, Otto.
We're covered. All right.
Mr. Chua, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'd like to wish you a Happy New Year. I forgot to wish you a Happy New Year. It's been 12 days in.
Right.
And I don't think you got any insurance before your wife lets you through the gate today when you go home.
Is that an additional policy?
I'll be going back in with a helmet.
Otto Delvin. Mr. Chua, once again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. And you have a great Monday ahead, all right? All right, Otto,
Okay.
it's been a lovely interview, huh?
It has been.
Insightful.
Insightful, very much.
Looks like you and I, the thoroughfulness, lah.
I'm thinking of my policies now.
Nothing. You and I were not responsible. We didn't know. Anna's the smart one.
Anna?
We should listen to her. We'll be right back. TRAXXFM.